Hello, Flosstube. It's Dina here. It is Sunday, February the 26th, and it is the end of my winter break from school. I work in a school district where we're lucky enough to get several weeks off during the year. Our students start, I think, August 1st, really, really early, but we get out before Memorial Day every year. And we get a full week off in the fall for our fall break. We get a full week at Thanksgiving. We usually get 2 weeks at Christmas. We get a week in February for winter break. And then we get a week early April for spring break. So it helps so much with just the energy. Like I think I've got maybe 5 weeks and then I get another week off. So yeah, and hubby was out of town this week, so I planned a staycation here, planned to do some projects, and got a lot done. So I wanted to share with you some of the items that we did, or that I did. Not all of them are cross-stitch related, but they all involve threads in some way or another. So the first thing I did was for my granddaughter Clementine. She turns 2 this week, and she loves to put her dolls to bed. When she was here at Christmas time, she'd never played with dolls, and I had a doll for her, and she loved it. Loved putting the doll down on the floor, covering it up with a towel so it could go night-night. So I thought, I want to make her a doll similar to one that I had when I was a little girl that I loved, and it was my favorite. So this was my first project. It's pretty big. Let me back up so you can see it. It's a Topsy Turvy doll. I got this pattern from Etsy. While She Naps is the name of the seller. And so cute little, this is where I used floss. I had to use floss and make her little nose and her mouth. And I used a little bit of makeup for the cheeks. So just a cute little doll that she can flop around. But if you've never seen a Topsy Turvy doll, here's what they do. So this is the Awake doll. And then if you flip it over and turn the dress the other way, there she is going night-night. And so her eyes are closed and she's got her Minnie Mouse jammies on just like Clementine has. Little bows in her hair, ready for night-night. So when the dress is down, you can't see, that there's 2 dolls. Sort of freaky when you're actually making it and you've got these 2 dolls, conjoined dolls here. But I think she's going to absolutely love it. And it was a lot of fun to make. It wasn't terribly difficult. The pattern is a little girl on one side and maybe evil stepmother or something on the other side, and so I altered it to make a sleeping doll and an awake doll. And so I was thinking back to when I was a little girl and the doll that I had, and so I am going to insert that picture here. Okay, so here's a picture of me, 1972. My best friend Lisa's on the left. That's me on the right with my Topsy Turvy doll. It was a Gone with the Wind doll. Scarlett O'Hara was on one side and Mammy was on the other side. And Mammy was my favorite. I thought she was the most beautiful woman ever with her red scarf and her gold earrings. I don't think you'd see a doll like that nowadays. I don't have it anymore. But I remember I absolutely loved it. All right, so the next thing that I worked on was my Clouds Factory, Famous Women in History, or whatever it's called. So I got the next 2 done, Marie Curie and Virginia Woolf. And I'm really, the stitching itself is okay. I don't have a problem with that. I can't read these words at all. If I didn't know that said Marie Curie, I would have no idea. So I'm disappointed in that. I don't think I care enough to rip it out and redo it. I don't know. I think I'm going to give it to my niece, Julia, for her birthday next year. I'm her godmother. She's my buddy, and she has two dads, so I I want to be that female influence on her, and being a strong, fantastic woman. I think that will be nice for her. So that was the next thing I worked on. After that, I worked on a quilt runner for my dining room table because I needed something for my dough bowl to sit on. And so I will insert a photo of this here. So it is a Jenny Beyer pattern. I think it ended up being around 80 inches long. It's pretty long. Made with batiks and a border print to get that middle piece. It's not perfectly matched up. And it's a quilt as you go. So, and I just picked up a batik from Hobby Lobby. Isn't that pretty? To go on the back. But I'm pleased. I think it turned out pretty well. And you can actually get the pattern free on her website and then find some fabrics that sort of flow into each other. And she has several of them for free. And it looks like, if you go on the website, it looks like you have to buy the pattern. And if you click on it, I think you can maybe buy the print pattern for $10. But they have a PDF, and you can download the pattern for free and just print it off yourself. And so they have one that has a square in the center, and then it's the same sort of thing where, I can't remember what it's called. And I'm thinking you could cross stitch something and then add some fabric to it. So that might be the next thing I do, is try to find a nice square. Maybe one of those ink drops patterns would be really, really pretty, and turn it into a table runner. Did a little bit on Santa's Village, not a whole lot. Yeah, did some snow and a little bit of the poinsettias. But the reason why I didn't do much on this was because I got distracted with a quick pattern. It was one of the Russian patterns that I bought the end of the year last year. I think it's Russian. It's the Alyssa collection. And so I've got this cute little bunny. Loved it. It was a quick stitch. I messed up a few times, just because I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. And so this is my very first FFO for 2017. So it's just solid green on the back. Just grabbed this out of my stash. And I'm proud of the finish. This flower is probably not going to stay forever because it's a paper flower, and I don't think it'll last very long. But the reason why I'm proud of it is because I used a different part of my brain to do this. So one of the things that I enjoy doing also is making cards. And so when I make cards and do paper crafting, one of my rules of thumb is to always have 3 embellishments. I don't know, the 3 is just my magic number. And so I thought of this like I would think of a card layout. Like, okay, if this was a flat image and I was making a card, I would probably put a ribbon here, probably throw some sort of flower brad on here. And so I thought, I'm going to do the same thing. I can treat this like I treat a greeting card. And so I actually went into my greeting card stash, which I never thought about mixing the different crafts. And so pulled this ribbon out of my greeting card box or that stuff. And then this is a paper flower that I would add to a card. And then this was just a teeny tiny little button that was in there too. So all of this came out of my paper crafting section of my craft room, which I'd never thought of digging into. So now that's opening up a whole bunch of possibilities. I'm like, why am I not using that ribbon? Why do I always go to my fabric ribbon? It makes no sense. So that was a big step for me. So really, really enjoyed doing this little thing. And I want to show you, it's a hot mess right now, but I made a copy of the pattern so that I could write all over it and scribble it, because it's like on a slick paper, so hard to use highlighter on. But I wanted to show you, if you can see, I think this is absolutely brilliant, the way they made note of what you were supposed to do. I can very easily see that if it's one of these stitches or one of these symbols right there, it's a full cross using 2 strands. If it's this symbol, it's a full cross using 1 strand. And if it's this symbol, it's a half cross using 2 strands. Like, wow, I've never seen anyone do that before. Absolutely brilliant. And then they did the back stitching the same way. I can see that's a 2-strand back stitch, 1 strand, 1 strand. Beautiful. Easy to read. I didn't mess it up too much. But that was fun. I started it on Friday and finished it today. And so speaking of Friday, y'all are going to be jealous. So I live up in North Georgia, and through Flosstube, I've made some friends, and there's a bunch of us that live, we're within 2.5 hours of each other. And so on Friday at Joann's, a bunch of us got together and just stitched. It was wonderful. So let me consult my list so I don't leave anyone out. And so I'm going to use Flosstube names. So Organic Granny was there, Stitching May, Half Stitch, Eclectic Possessions, Evergreen Needle, me, some other ladies that don't have Flosstube, Stephanie, Melissa, and Karen were there. We also dragged in one of the employees who had gotten off of work and happened to have her cross stitch. We're like, hey, come join us. So she sat with us for a little bit. And then some other ladies that have Instagram names. So Dames of the Needle, she has an Etsy shop. And she brought us some of her flosses and hand-dyed fabrics and patterns that we could buy if we wanted to. We didn't buy it there at the store. We went someplace else. A Needle in Time was there, and then the next day, a bunch of them came over to my house because we didn't have access to the classroom anymore at the store, and so we just set up art lights all over the place and made coffee and tea and scones and egg casserole and muffins, and just sat around. And It Is Kismet Stitches joined us then. And so we probably sat around till about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, stitching. So lots of fun. And since then, I think a few people posted on Stitch Mania and said, hey, look at what we were doing. And so we've had a few others say, hey, I want to join next time. So there's a lot. And I just found out that Night Owl Stitcher and Mischievous Stitches, they're also maybe 2.5 hours away from us. So cross stitching is hot here in the South. So it was really cool. And it was just so weird, especially Emily from Eclectic Possessions. I'm so used to seeing her on my screen, and then to hear her talking, I'm like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing. It's like a celebrity right there. And everyone was just awesome. Got to see, their incredible work. It was fun. Very nice. And so hopefully we'll do that again soon. All right, and then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is some of my floss organization. So last time I talked about how I was going to the bag system. My husband did build me the extra set of dividers for the second drawer. And I did move the drawers down. I'm using the second and third drawer so that I can wheel over there and don't have to stand up. Easier to sort through. I made my dividers to go with it. But one of the things that I wanted to figure out how to do is how to reference my hand-dyed or specialty fibers so that if I'm stitching something and I wanna bling it up, maybe add silks, maybe add the overdyes, how am I going to know which one would match the best? And I'm sure there's an app that will do that, but I'm sort of old school. And so what I did was I went to my DMC book, which is the best thing ever. And I said, okay, so each of these columns, they sort of have them organized by number. So this is column 1, 2, etc. And it goes up to maybe 20. Can't remember. I should, because I used this the other day. Yeah, it goes up to 20. And so I took my little black book and made some pages in my book, let me find it, of color conversions. And so I numbered pages from 1 to 20. So DMC 1, DMC 2, etc. Went all the way up to 20. And those correlate with these columns. So then what I did was I took each of my flosses and held them up to see where do I think it fits. If this were in a family, would it fit in with 1? Is it this shade of red? Is it shade of red 2 here? Does it fit there? And so once I pinpointed which column I thought it best fit in, then I went to that page in my book and added it. So, and I tried to put it, these are pinks and reds. So this one is Blue Coat Red. So Weeks Dye Works, Blue Coat Red, right there. So I've got 4 Weeks Dye Works that sort of fit into that column. I've got a Fibralicious, I've got 2, I can't remember what that is, Classic Colors, and then a Gentle Arts. And so then if I am pulling my DMCs and I'm like, maybe I don't have one of these DMC colors and I want to find something else, I could refer to this and say, okay, maybe one of these would fit. And so I don't know. I don't know if it'll help. I haven't tried it yet. All I've done is list everything here. It was sort of interesting to see, because if I buy a specialty or a hand-dyed fiber, because I'm drawn to it. So it's sort of fun to see the colors or the families that I was drawn to and not. So here I've got some reds. Look at this next row. I only have 2. I don't like the pinks too much. Not a pink girl. And then when I went down here, like the whites and the beiges and the browns. So I think it's going to help me use my flosses. I don't have to go buy whatever they're asking me to buy. If they're asking me to buy, Weeks Dye Works Mocha, maybe my Hickory Sticks by Classic Colorworks would work. And so, so I did that, added that to my book. Another thing that I did, because I didn't want to have 1,000,001 lists or, reference charts, I did an A through Z list here. And each of these specialty fibers has, a name like Blue Coat Red. So that starts with a B. So I go to my B's and Weeks Dye Works. Here's all the Weeks Dye Works I have that start with B. There's the Gaths, the Karen Water Lilies, the Valdani. So using their names. So we'll see. I think that might help me have an easy, do I have moss by anybody? So let me go look at the M's. And sure enough, yeah, I've got moss by Weeks Dye Works and I've got it by Gast. So so I think that'll help. So yeah, this is my book of everything. I just have random stuff in here. I've got my knitting stuff, how I make my project bags. So this is my book. It is a moleskin and it's got grids, which is very helpful if I'm charting something out. Like when I do my signature on my stitching, that's what my signature looks like. So yeah, love it. great quality. It's not going to fall apart, and it's got the little strap to go around it. Oh, one more thing. Looking to see what else I've got. So Needle in Time brought me a gift. She and Half Stitch stayed at my house Friday night, and so she made this mug for me. I belong to the Cross Stitch Nation. Love it. Every time I see it, I want to sing Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson. But so adorable. It was filled with Lindt chocolates. There's one left. Don't know what happened to the rest. And she brought me a needle minder too. Adorable. So it's been a great, great stitchy week. I'm not quite ready to go back to work tomorrow, but work pays the bills. So y'all enjoy. It'll probably be a month or so until I get back on here because I'll be back to just stitching probably one day a week. And I've been distracted by some knitting lately. I've gotten onto some knitting podcasts, so I'm probably going to skip down that road for a little while. All right, y'all take care. Bye.